This time I'm working on a 1978 Series 1. The water pump and radiator have already been changed, but these pipes also need to be changed out now. The pipe looks original as it contours onto the body, and then we have the lower part of the tunnel here. The tunnel is welded onto the car, and the question always arises, does that support the car in some way as well? I've seen cars with the tunnel removed to change the pipes, but I won't be doing it this way. These are the bleed bolts, but right behind there I can see some welding. First, I'm going to have to take apart this temporary fix. And you can see here there's not much of the pipe left. Taking off the other side, it's not as bad as the other one, but there's still some corrosion. And now moving on to the back of the car to remove the hose clamps. And the wiggle reveals more corrosion as expected. I'm now cutting the bracket that holds up the pipe under the front boot. And then once again on the other side. And on the back of the car, pull down the speedo cable and put it out of the way. So now to cut the rear pipes on a straight angle, making sure not to hit the body of the car. I've cut almost through the entire pipe, but I've just left a little bit and I'll wiggle it off instead. I don't want to get the disc through the chassis. And now to the front of the car, where I'm just going to wiggle the pipe back and forth to pull it out. This one is sticking a little bit. And now to do the same on the other side. With the pipe removed, you can see where I cut the bracket. I just cut one of the layers of steel. Inspecting the pipes that came out of the car, they're actually new. They've just been welded on to the old ones up here, but there's no holes in this pipe. But this car does have a leak, so where's it coming from? Inside the tunnel, it looks dry and in good condition. There's one more place I need to look. Underneath here is the hose that connects to the pipe that takes the hot water from the engine to your heater. I can see some corrosion down here which doesn't look good, so I'm going to have to come back to that, but let's get back to the pipes. These are the two original pipes that came out of the car, and that's the replacement, but I need to paint it. Now that they're painted, I just got to put them into the car. So now to put the pipes back in place, I'm just going to put it through from the front of the car. So inside the tunnel looks like this, and if you don't get the angle right, you'll get snagged like I did. You just have to manipulate the pipe and then it will slide in. I'm tapping back the metal here as it will give me more room for some hose clamps. And now to slide in the other side. With the pipes out of the way, I'm going to clean out the bracket for welding. Now to attach the first pipe hose to the radiator. And now hammering close the bracket. This is as close as I can get. And now to repeat the same process on the other side. I'm going to be using these two hoses on the back to replace the pipes that were cut. They fit nicely together. You can see they really do work well. Remember when I was hammering the metal? Well, it was for this piece here so the hose clamp would fit neatly underneath. After tightening the hose clamps, I need to connect the other two hoses. I have two pieces of pipe that will do the job, but I need to get the rust off them first. And after soaking overnight, they came out like new. I rust treated both of them and then used them as the connectors. I can see that the hose will probably rub here, so I'm going to put a bit of rubber on top of it to give it some insulation. The hose is sitting quite rigid and I put some protection on both sides just in case. So now I need to go back and fix the bracket. I have a little bit of metal here which I'm going to weld in place. The weld spots are clear of the pipe because of where it's cut. And then the same on the other side and then seal it up. And all that's left is to put the speedometer cable back in position. Okay, that's it. The pipes are done. I just need to now work out what's going on above. So I need to take a closer look under here. It definitely looks like it was once wet. Firstly, I'm going to open the heater valve. Then get access to the engine bay and remove the hoses that feed the heater. I'm going to use some compressed air at the end of the hose. This will push out any water that's in the system and also show me if there's any leaks, and also do that. So just a little bit of a tidy up there, and then inside the car you can see there's definitely water inside there now, so we must have a leak underneath. There's a rod and pin set up here that holds the handbrake. I'm just pushing that out of the way, and then also don't forget to disconnect the cable for the light. The hose side comes from the engine bay, and I'm just unscrewing it there and then pushing it back off the pipe. Now with the hose off, I can get a better look at the pipe itself, and I can definitely see there's some corrosion there. The hose itself looks like it has no damage and is quite flexible. And just a few millimeters on the other side, just towards the end about here, there is corrosion and a split in the pipe. There's really only two ways to fix this problem. One way is replace the entire pipe itself, which I've done before in another video, or do this. Push the hose further up the pipe. This will then go past the crack point. This is not a permanent fix, but it is a long-term fix. It will last quite a long time. I'm now priming the heater loop with some coolant. I want to test if I have a leak at this point anymore. With the air hose plugged in one side and my finger lightly over the other end, I'm just pressurizing the entire loop. I'm not seeing any further leaks, so I believe that fixed the problem. And seeing I have the heater hose off already, I may as well prime the loop. And now to just attach the heater hoses. Then to reassemble the handbrake by putting the rod through the hole here, putting a washer on, and then the pin to hold it in place. Reattaching the handbrake light switch, then reassembling and remounting the handbrake to the chassis. And now time to top up the coolant. I'm opening the bleed valve and then filling up the car with more fluid, and it's coming out the top. So that's it, everything's in place. I'm just going to take it for a quick test drive and see if I have any leaks. So I've started the car and I'm just having a look inside there to make sure that the pump is working, and I can see there's a flow of water there, which means that it's coming from the pump. And taking it for a test drive, there are no leaks and the temperature is holding well. For more videos, information or Club Day events, please check out the website at x19.com.au or fiatclub.net.au. And as always, thanks for watching.